Welcome to episode 4 of the Soxcast. I'm your PA announcer, Tim Best, and we got a great episode for you today. We got our final Hall of Famer that we have so far. I mean, we had talked to Taylor Olmstead, our newest inductee, going to be inducted this summer, Robbie Young. Last time out was Franklin Jennings. And last but not least, a guy who set a single season record for the Blue Sox in home runs by hitting 9 back in 2018. And on that note, also, he's the only Blue Sox to ever total over 100 total bases during a season, as he totaled 101 bags in the entire 2018 season. And of course, because of his terrific efforts, he was an all-star as well as being inducted in 2019 to our Blue Sox Hall of Fame. None other than Khalyd Cox. KC, is really good. Finally get you here on the Soxcast.
Yeah. What's up?
Well, I mean, let's just, let's hit the time machine, let's hit rewind, go back to, late May, early June of 2018. So coming into Utica, you're from Florida, and
Yeah.
for some guys, I mean, they travel a long ways, like some are local, but I mean, where you are, that's well over 1,000 miles going up north. So, when you got to Utica, New York, what do you remember from touching down, getting to Utica, seeing the surroundings in the clubhouse, and then meeting, all these new guys that, other than Justin Washington, your teammate at Savannah State, you hadn't really met?
So get on the plane and go all the way to Long Island. And I get off the plane, and I'm going down the escalator or whatever. And I'm like, what is the East Isla? And I was super confused. I was super confused. It's the East. And then I had to get in contact with Butch Russo, was our GM at the time. And he picked me up, and he picked a guy up before me. I cannot remember who it was. I think it was Blaze. Tall kid from Oklahoma.
Okay. Who can forget about Blaze Loman, man? Another all-star.
Yeah, deep boy. He was funny too, man. Good player also. And we driving, and I'm talking to him and everything. He's checking him out. He asking me questions. I'm asking him questions. It's gonna be all down there? He's like, oh, it's nothing much, just food places. I'm like, all right, cool. I love food places. So I was like, man, more new food places, try the better. And then it's like, oh, we got a nice place with pizza and wings, another nice place with good pasta and everything. I was like, hey. And he just gave us the rundown. It was like, all right, I think we was gonna end up taking us to the locker room, the clubhouse and everything. And he's like, oh, we got some nice stuff, got the managers and everything. And like, oh, finally meet them. So we drop our stuff off at Utica College, get our dorms, everything. And we go over there, talk to the coaches, and you shake their hand, all the good stuff. Look around, I'm like, dang, they got a lot of stuff. They got foosball, they got tennis, they got, well, not tennis, but table tennis. Yeah, they got darts, you know what I mean? Nice little couches. They had Chobani yogurt, but I was like, nah, I don't even like yogurt, so I'm good on that. But they had some good fruit, had a nice little layout and everything, and I liked it. Then we came out and we practiced the next day. And then we just went at it. 3 straight weeks, you know what I mean? Going straight at it, every day competing. We playing exhibition games, and we get into the games really fast, and just keep going and do what we do. I think the only real difference, it got cold at night, in New York, upstate New York.
Oh yeah. We all we know all too well about that.
Yeah, so Florida, even in the winter, is like partly cloudy and 75. You know what I mean? So it's not bad and everything. But when you're up there and it's at nighttime in the summer, you're like, oh, you wouldn't think it's that bad. It's like 55 degrees and the wind blowing. You got to wear long sleeves every day. So that was a little getting used to. And I know, you know what I mean? I played in the cold before, but during the summer, feeling it in the summer was a little different. But it didn't change much. You got used to it pretty quick and just was playing.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about that early season. I mean, you got some good wins early on. Opening night you whacked Amsterdam, and I mean, granted, a lot of their guys, their big dogs hadn't come in yet because they're big programs. They're not coming until later because of the NCAAs. But so let's talk about what happened June 9th of 2018. You're playing Adirondack, who, mind you, at this point is 0-7. And Adirondack, I think they're pretty upset about the fact that they were 0-7, and they go up 12-2 on you in the sixth inning. They pounce on Blaze. They got some runs off Casper and another guy. I don't know why I'm blanking on who it was. I think Leon Finney was another one of those guys that, was on the mound in the middle of the game. So you're down 12-2 in the bottom of the sixth inning. Try to take me back to what the vibe in the dugout was, what it was like. You're down 10 runs in the sixth inning. I mean, what could possibly be going through your heads at this time?
I don't know about everybody else, because I'm not inside their head. Me, it's like, man, we just got to find a way to get back in it. It's like it's crazy, and our coach goes and says like, "Hey, we're gonna come back in this game, one run, one hit, one pitch at a time." And and it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Seeing that, it's the understanding that, and like, okay, yeah, rah, and then you got to go out and do it. And in a sense, I know it could be done. I've done it before, like with a team I'm on. And I know I was like, when I was real younger, my dad was coaching me in AU. We was losing like 11-1 after like the third inning. It was killing us. And he was like, we're going to come back in this game. You got to take one run at a time. Don't keep coming. You got to keep coming. You got to keep scoring. And he just was on us persistent every inning. And we end up coming back. We end up beating the team by like 5 runs, something like that. And then it's like, okay, when Utica happened and everything, it's like, all right, we end up, when that inning happened, we have like 12 straight batters, some weird number, without even getting out. So it's like, that's a super quick turnaround. And what's going through your head, you just trying to be like, hey, man, I'm just trying to pass the baton. That's all. And the guy next to me, the guy behind me, he wants to pass the baton. And that's how rallies start, And it just was like that. But me, just like in my mind, I was playing pretty good that game. My first pitch I seen, my first at bat, I hit a home run dead center.
Line shot too.
Yeah, and it's just what you try to do. That's what I try to do, hit line drives, and if they rise and they go over, they go over. If they hit off the wall, I'm gonna keep running, So, and also, I don't think many people remember, but I do because I'm hitting and everything. I think it was like a sidearm guy, submarine guy. Throws me a pitch in, and I hit it good, hard, and it goes just foul. 2 pitches later, I strike out. I'm like, dang. You know what I mean? So I'm just really trying to get into the game and really, so really stay in the game, really produce my team. That's all I'm trying to do. And I go up there, they got a lefty. I'm like, okay. They're trying to get match up. They trying to match me up. And coach calls me over and said, don't wait. He said, don't wait on it. He said, don't wait on no pitches. He said, you see the first one, you lose it. Lose it over the right field fence. That's what you do. He said, you know what I mean? That's what you try to hit the ball far. That's what he called it, losing it. And he throws a little hanging breaking ball. He comes back, come here. And I, hey, what's up? He said, he throws that, you really lose that one. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I can't even tell you the count. I can't really tell you what happened, but I just know I remember like seeing the ball like coming in, and I turned and I caught it, and I hit it. And I was like, wow, that ball is hit hard. And it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. And I was like, and then I lost it. I was like, whoa. I was like, that ball is gone. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
all right,
so
we got something going.
I was gonna ask you, like, the way the press box is, it's on the right field side, on the first base side. So like I can't see the ball going down the right field. I just know it was hit a ton. It stayed fair, and I mean, I had more eyewitness accounts because a lot of the people that were there that night left when it got to 12-2. But I mean, do you think it really could have hit the road, right near the hospital? going down that
To the
way.
hospital.
like near the hospital. You know that Burstone Road, that road that goes
Yeah.
downhill. Like,
Yeah, got the
could
little
that have,
overpass on it.
like, could that have? I mean, could that have hit that road?
Could have hit the road. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to, you know what I mean, hype myself up anything. But
I mean, it was at least 400. At least 400.
So it was no doubt, and it's probably one of the furthest balls I've hit. It is crazy because it's coming off a lefty, and I know our clubby, Dwayne was saying he got it from like on the sidewalk. Like if somebody said they seen it on the sidewalk or on the street. And I'm like, for real? Because I asked him where it went because I lost it at night, and then still the next day. I was like, man, is he exaggerating? Because it's like 3:30 down right, and then it's like a fence right before the sidewalk, you know? And it's like a little bit before the sidewalk. And it's probably like 70, 80 feet behind the right field fence, that fence that's in front of the sidewalk. So it's like, hit it on the sidewalk, it was on the road. The ball was hit a ton.
Yeah, and honest to God, I mean, the thing is, it's not like, it went into like an upper deck where like you gotta like guesstimate how far it could have gone after it landed. But I mean, nothing impeded it. It just landed. So whatever that distance was, wherever that ball landed, that's exact measurement. Again, if that ball went 450, I would not have been shocked. But I mean, talking about that eighth inning, I mean, the funny thing is, again, you're down 12-2. I think it's a 4-run six, 12-6, and then they answer with 2. But honestly, I don't think that big inning happens without John Torres pitching a really great eighth inning.
Yeah.
I mean, like for a guy like him, he struggled a lot, but in that particular game, I mean, yeah, he came through when he absolutely needed to. And again, like, this doesn't happen without this. That comeback, that eighth inning run doesn't happen without Torres shutting him down at the top of the inning.
Yeah, most definitely. And with guys, just like relievers per se, and sometimes the relievers don't do good every time. It's just like with us with hitters. But in a sense, relievers like, all right, they do bad one inning, they don't pitch again for the rest of the day. If I strike out the first inning, I get the third inning or whenever I come back up, and so I gotta wait they turn. So it seems like a more exaggerated thing. And I know he has some bright spots. Everybody has some bright spots. And I know everybody has some dull moments too. And the good thing about our team as time went on, when people had their dull moments, others had their bright spots to pick them up. Whether it was pitching, whether it was defense, whether it's a reliever coming in and helping out another reliever, or a starter that ain't pitching good and the relievers come in, they do like a little early relief thing and they come in like the third inning because the starter's struggling, or the pitch is not that good today, so we hit good. The hit is not that good today, so we pitch good. You know what I mean? So we having each other's back, and it's okay. Some people's doing bad, but it's okay. We're gonna keep them. We're gonna keep them rolling. And if they not hitting, okay, man, play a little defense. We got you. We got your back. We'll pick you up because you picked us up. So you know what I mean? We're returning the favor. That's what teammates do for each other,
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And so I gotta ask also, so I actually looked it up. I believe it was 10. I think it was 10 consecutive hitters that came up with nobody getting in that first out. And I mean, so when you guys actually took that lead, and if I'm not mistaken, as I'm looking this up now, it was. Wait for it. I'm like, I almost have it, but it was Cole Hambick. He drew a bases loaded walk to give you guys your first lead of the game, and then you guys finally got the first out. But what are you thinking? You only had one runner on base. When you hit that home run early in the inning. Now you got the bases loaded the second time up. Are you thinking? I'm like, okay, I want to drive in the dagger right here, right now.
In a sense, yeah. But in my mind, I've known before where I had times where I hit home runs or like hit the ball very well. And say like hold on a second. Where I hit home runs, like far home runs. I just killed the ball. And I kind of come back and like, oh, hit another. You know what I mean? It's like No, you can't do that. Because as soon as you get in that mindset, hit another one, you're gonna strike out. You're gonna get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, all right, bases loaded. The only thing I need to do is get a score run. I score a run, I'm good. Anything else is just a bonus. So now you got to score a run, and now you're thinking in your mind. Now I'm thinking in my mind, all right, stay up the middle. Stay up the middle. You know what I mean? Give them a chance. Because now if you know, either side, it's a little easier. Stay up the middle. If you stay up the middle, you have a better chance of getting a hit. It's 2 outs, you know? And boom, I seen a pitch that I like, and I drove it. And I was on. So it just carried. And I was thinking in my mind, I was like, man, that might go out too. And I'm like jogging a little bit. And I'm like, dang, I got to start busting it, because just in case it don't. And I'm running, and look at it. It didn't go out. So you got to bust it all the way out. You don't want to be like lollygagging. You don't want to be like trotting the whole way until it hit the wall. And to be honest, transparency it's happened before to me. So it's like, I don't want it to happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, that was the real dagger. I mean, the funny thing was, I think that was another new pitcher that had come in at that point. I think it was you were the first batter, like the kid you hit a home run off of earlier in the inning. It was another brand new pitcher. So, was it something just that night where like you just read whatever new pitcher was coming in really well?
Yes. I think it was the preparation the weeks before, because I wasn't hitting well. Everybody can look it up. It doesn't matter. I wasn't hitting well, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to figure some things out. What's going on? It's like, all right, if I hit good one game, I don't hit good the next game, or it's like I'm not seeing the pitches, and I'm going and I'll talk to my coach, and Coach Joe, and I was like, hey, coach, man, I was like, what's up? I'm talking to him, and like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, I just need to work on some things. What you see, we just talking. So see if he can see something. He's like, all right, he say, we come a little early tomorrow, and we can get to working. And I was like, all right, cool. So we hit BP 4:00. I come there 2:00. It's the early time. So he comes out there, he's already dressed. He's there. I get there at 2:00. He's probably look like he's been there an hour already. So you know what I mean? He's there. He was there early every day. All the coaches, like 12:30, 1:00. And so we go out there, go off the tee, we do some work, do some things, and things click a little bit. So I hit BP that day. It's going good. I don't play for the next, I want to say 2-3 games. And then the first game I did play again was the game against Adirondack. We were just playing, and I know we played at Jamestown, and I really put on the show at Jamestown. We hit the BP, and I was like, and it was crazy. This blew my mind, just like crushing balls. And that's when it was clicking, like really clicking. It didn't take that long. And I think I hit like 2 balls off the batter's eye in center field at Jamestown in BP. And it was like, whoa. And I was just scorching balls. And I was like, he just asked how it felt. I was like, feels really good, feels natural. So I was really excited about that. And I was really excited to play. You know what I mean? And then in a sense, it wasn't even excited. Oh, I want to hit home runs. It's like, I'm excited. I want to barrel some balls, I want to do some things, hit the balls in the gap, to run a little bit, play the game,
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And so, that whole season, I mean, this was an interesting year because of the fact that now, there's a brand new format. There's 3 divisions in this league now and not 2. So in that Central Division, I mean, it was a real dogfight amongst the top 3. Adirondack was kind of on the outside looking in, but with the top 2 teams at the bare minimum getting in the playoffs from each division, you were gunning for one of those 2 spots. Mohawk Valley was the top team in the league, but it was the expansion of Watertown Rapids that you were, chasing for most of that season. And the one game in particular I remember, and I know you guys did not come out on the winning end, but you were on the team that was part of that first ever Pink the Park night. What do you remember from that night? And essentially being part of a brand new tradition here in Utica.
Yeah. Night was great. It was amazing. It was playing Watertown, and just a back and forth game. And I know they took the lead, and it was like I can't remember exactly how many runs it was, but it's more than two. So I'll say like 3 or 4, maybe 5 runs. And my teammate Cam, I ended up playing with him at Texas College after that season. Cam Phelps, my boy, superstar. He hit a absolutely towering shot. I want to say it went over the scoreboard from the left side. He's a switch hitter.
I believe it. I think I remember that now that you say that.
Yeah, towering shot. Honestly, the crazy thing is I talk to him about it all the time. I was like, bro, you remember you hit that crazy bomb from the left side? Because I was on first when he hit it. And he hit it, and he's like busting it out the line, busting it down the line. And I'm just like watching the ball jogging slow. And I don't know why I peeked back, and this man's like almost right on my back. And I was like, I was trying to run a little bit because I didn't want him to pass me, because he passed me, I'm out. So, but it was crazy. It's crazy that you bring that up, and that thing just clicked in my memory, that moment. And I seen him, and he's rounding third. The greatest thing is seeing him rounding third, and he's like pumping up our team. And he's not, you know what I mean? He's a more quiet guy. Yeah, he's not really a vocal person.
He really don't talk much. He let the game talk for himself.
Yeah, most definitely. But when he's going and he's trying to pump up the crowd, he's really in. So it was good. It was really good to see that reaction from him. So you know what I mean? We really got him. We really got a dog in the fight now. So that was great. And I would say one of the most interesting and the coolest parts of that night was afterwards. It was like little kids was asking us to sign their arms and sign their foreheads, sign their shirts. I'm like, it blows your mind because you never had anybody ask you to like sign something like you being an athlete. It's like treat us like we're like the MLB players, pro players out there. So it was like very interesting. And just loads and loads of people asking us for autographs, asking us to take pictures, asking us like, oh, if you broke a bat. And it's usually like that, but I think it was a lot of people, and it was a lot more kids asking and everything, like a lot more kids at the game. And so it was a lot of them were asking and everything like that. So it was a very cool experience, very humbling experience also, because it's like, man, it's like they think so highly of you, and you know what I mean, and all your skills, and then you just remember all the training that you had and all the people that you looked up to, and then now you're on that other side of the fence,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, in terms of like being that role model and being that star player, essentially, inspiring him, like I want to do what he's doing someday. You really took that step towards immortality in Utica. The day you broke the single season home run record held by Taylor Olmstead, and I believe it's Scott Crutel back in 2011. As I did further research, he was tied for the record. He did it back in 2011, and he did it up in Boonville, a place for some reason you did your best work against Adirondack. But did you know anything about the record, and like did you know when you actually broke it, or were you kind of informed after the fact?
I didn't know what the record was until I got to like 6 or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, it's the single season record. And when I hit the 8th one, I thought I tied it. But it was 7. So I was like, and I got confused because I swear somebody told me he had 8. And I was like, all right, cool. And I don't really think about it. You know what I mean? I'm just playing the game. And I feel I do my best and play my best when I'm having fun playing the game, and essentially like playing the game like it's a video game. You know what I mean? Just being loose and fun. You just being loose, fun, and competitive when you're playing a video game. Basically.
Yeah, if you're thinking in the back of your mind, I'm gonna break this record, right? Like you're gonna start thinking about it. It's gonna get in your head, and you're not gonna be loose.
Yeah, you're gonna be tight. You gripping your bat, and everything, and death gripping it, and now your muscles tight, your muscles tense. You're trying to swing up, doing all this stuff you wasn't doing before, getting to where you got at this exact point. You doing all the opposite. What you think is gonna happen? The result is gonna be opposite.
Got
This
that right.
so and when I was thinking, I was like, and you know, my parents, my siblings, they're good at, you know what I mean? Hey, keep your level head and everything like that. Stay level, stay all my family the same way. They cheer for me, but they always say, keep a level head because you up here, you can be up here one day and down here the next day. But if you keep your level head, everything will work out fine.
So, I mean, was it apropos that you broke the record against Adirondack, a team that, I mean, granted, you did, like I said, you did your best work against them, and you did it up in Boonville, arguably the most hitter-friendly park in the entire league by a long shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it stung. It's now I think about it, it stinks that Adirondack didn't have a team this year. Thankfully, they're going to be back next year. But I mean, but I mean, the fact that looking back on it now, did you ever think that you'd be in that upper echelon in terms of, you expect to be great, but like, would you ever expect to be like Blue Sox Hall of Famer great? From the moment you got to Utica, like looking back on it now, do you think like is it crazy that you came in thinking that, like, okay, I want to be great here, but did you ever expect Blue Sox Hall of Famer great?
No, I didn't. When I first came here, I didn't know they had a Hall of Fame, and then they kind of told me after we seen the people, out there on the wall and everything, and they would talk after a couple games. But I came in the season, and I was like, I need to be consistent, a consistently really good hitter, and I have great moments. You know what I mean? And there's been a little, and then they have down moments, but I wanted to be consistent the whole way, the whole season, and not results based, but in my process and the way I do things, the way I think about how I approach the game, how I'm going to the plate, and that's what I was trying to be so big on, my process. And if I have a good process, I have good results, and it's always been like that for me. And then after the 2 home run game, I came in at 2 o'clock the next day. You know what I mean? Just get early work, just swinging and stuff. I like swinging the bat, honestly. I love it. I love the sound of the bat. It makes when you put a good wood piece, good swing on it, And Coach Jules, he's talking to me, and he said he played with a guy, tall, dark-skinned guy, like 6'4". Didn't really talk much, you know what I mean? Kind of quiet guy. And he had the Darth Vader like theme song he would play every time he walked up. It was his walk-up song. It's crazy. It blew my mind. I'm like dying laughing. It's like, no, I'm serious. He said the crowd went crazy for him. And he said, I really didn't never heard anything like that since they would hear your walk-up song. And he was like, who knows? He said, maybe one day you'll be a Blue Sox legend. He said it right after, I swear, right hand. You can ask him if you want to. It's crazy. And I was like,
I believe
it. And I'm like, not even thinking about it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, I'm not, because it's like, okay, people doing the folk, like getting to folklore. It's never a 1 season thing. So it's like in the back of my head. But as time goes on, it kind of pops to the front, go to the back. You know what I mean? Goes away. It's like, wow, he might be right. And lo and behold, crazy.
Yeah. So like, tell me when you got the call, about, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And strangely enough, it was on Pink the Park night, which, I mean, it sucked that it got rained out, but I mean, still, take me through, the moment you got that call, officially saying like, Khalyd, you're going to be a Blue Sox Hall of Famer.
I was like, it was crazy because I was like, for real? And I was like, okay. Because I was just surprised, and I was like, okay, I'm like really honored and blessed that I was able to be a Hall of Famer for anything. And it's so humbling because you just think all the work you put in. You think all the times you failed, like all the times you failed. and then the times you succeed. Because it's like you feel like way, way more. Like the old saying, you succeed 3 times out of 10, you go into the Hall of Fame or whatever. But it is like, all right, and it was worth it, and it was worth all the fun and all the excitement of the games and being prepared. And it was like you ready for the moment. It's not like you, all right, I'm just hopping in there like cold water. You like, get freeze a little bit. It's like you ready for what's gonna happen. You've been through this and you train for it and you go about that. And you know what I mean? And it's not just for, oh, I want to get the Hall of Fame. It's just because it's a way of life. It's just a way of life. If you prepare for it, the outcome is gonna be a lot better when you don't. So that's just what it is. And you can look at it in any part of life. Whoever can look at it in any part of life. When you prepare for it, the outcomes is a lot better than when you don't. The only time is the opposite is if you get lucky. That's it. A God's grace. So
amen to that. So the fact that you're still playing, your first year after, playing in Utica, you're playing independent ball, strangely enough, in New York State. And you run into some, former teammates and other Blue Sox guys. I know Taylor Olmsted was playing in the league at the time. I believe Coco Hussein was also in the league at that time as well, or maybe anytime after.
Al-Adi, my boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, talking about Coco, man, I mean, I know you walked out to something by OT Genesis. And I was trying to make him walk up to something by OT Genesis because of his name, but he hated it. He hated walking up to "I in love with the go." Like he hated it, and I never understood
remember that
it.
too. The day you got our walk up songs,
and I convinced him real hard. I was like, all right, and like he braved it for like 2 weeks. More power to him. And then he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, you know what? You braved it. I respect it. I'll give you what you want. But the fans loved it. So that was the only thing that made me sad to throw it away.
Yeah, I remember the fans going crazy for it. Yeah, and sometimes it just you don't love it. I know when you get that good walk up song, it changes you. It just makes the walk up to the plate a lot better. So
yeah, I feel like for you, I mean, it's so much psychological. I mean, but I specifically, I remember like with OT Genesis, push it, man. Like your teammates would be like, like in like on the railing of the dugout going, like just the, bop into the beat of it. Like, I mean, like, did you ever look back and notice that?
Nah, I didn't, to be honest. But in my mind, when I picked the walk up song, I was like thinking, man, you got to get the crowd going. You got to have the energy good, because you can't have like dark energy or something sad or something just too slow, somber, whatever. You know what I mean? You got to get the people bumping and jumping. So when the people's up and live and they just excited and the teammates excited, you got that energy and you feel it. Now you excited, now you having fun, now you comfortable, and it's one thing lead after another, and great things happen.
So how enjoyable was it? I mean, because I don't think up until you got to Utica, you even played in front of crowds that big.
It was very enjoyable. Like in high school, our crowds was not that big, but I think it's like maybe 1 or 2 games. We play like Sarasota High. So, and they were really good. One of the best teams in the area, best teams in the state. Had some great players, a lot of D1 athletes on their team and everything like that. But playing in front of those crowds, it was amazing, because the crowd reactions is nothing like it. It's nothing like it. And especially the All-Star game, when I think it was around like 1,500, 2,000 at the
I think it was Elmira.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Elmira was the little old grandstand stadium out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, out of the middle of nowhere. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun. And even when you just sitting there watching your other teammates go and compete and have success, and the crowd cheering from, they jumping up and down, they doing all their little double celebrations, basic celebrations, or whatever. It's just feed off the energy of the crowd, and when you have a great crowd, you have a chance.
So, like looking back on it now, obviously, you've been, again, you played here, it's going to be almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
So, you've been playing still, throughout this entire time. And obviously, I feel like the lessons that you learned in Utica, I mean, I feel like, this is the highest level of summer collegiate baseball that you could have possibly played, like, I mean, I believe, PCBL is top 5 summer league in the country. So,
Yeah.
during the, time since then, you're like, did you like think to yourself now that you could put some thought to it, like, I actually learned a lot and I'm still carrying a lot of what I learned in Utica with me in my professional career.
Yeah. And I think I have, because when you go in there and when this is top 5 collegiate league and it's like, all right, it's just under the Cape Cod, NECBL, Northwoods and Coastal Plains and things like that. A lot of those players get drafted, very high quality, high profile players. We had some of our own and things like that. So you playing, and it's good competition, great competition. It's like, in a sense, it's like it's like you got a bunch of bad men out there. Like and not bad men like, oh, you're bad, but some
No,
really
no, no.
good
I know
players.
what you're
You
thinking.
get what I'm
Like
saying?
when
Yeah.
Stephen A.
Like,
says Aaron Rodgers is a bad man.
Yeah, he's a bad, he had some bad men out there. But in essence, you can never forget. And I never forgot. I'm a bad man too, at the end of the day. And they gotta show me they badder than me. So that's what it is. And sometimes I got. Other times I got them, and it's all a part of the game. And that's the fun part about it. Is like, who gonna win this time? It's kind of like, you know what I mean, a little wild, wild west thing. Like fastest gun of the West. So that was some of the things where it was like, okay, these are some really good college players. Like, all right, you in college. Now you the best out of your area or most areas when you go to college, or when you play with the players, they the best from their team, or they the best from this part, all that part, whatever. But now you playing in a better collegiate league, is like those are some of the best players and some of the best teams in the country, or some of the best mid majors, and they got some of their best players out there. So it's like another step up. You know what I mean? So, and you gotta separate yourself basically. And if you can't separate yourself, sorry to you.
Exactly. And hey, you separated yourself. I mean, the funny thing is, on that team, I mean, you still had Lou De Leon, who
Yeah,
broke the all-time hits record for the franchise this past summer. Let's
I'm
not
not
talk about,
surprised.
I mean, let's not forget about Isaiah Torres. That guy, a naturally great hitter. Cam Felts is playing indie ball with the Washington Wild Things. I mean, you had some dogs, but if there's anyone that stood out with this kind of season that you had, nobody's had that kind of, again, like I said before, you're the only player in the history of the franchise to total over 100 bases in one season. Like, the
Yeah,
next closest is like 80 something. So, again, there's anyone that really, solidified themselves, separated themselves from the pack as an alpha in Blue Sox franchise history. It's obviously you. And Khalyd, thank you for being a part of the Soxcast. I mean, it was about time we got you. And I think for the first few episodes, it was good that we got all these Hall of Famers. And
yeah.
for you to be the last one, it's again, we can't thank you enough for, being here and for, everything you did. And just in your 1 year here in Utica, and obviously going beyond and, being the ambassador that you still are for the Blue Sox brand and franchise. And, like I was telling you about before, we're trying to get this alumni weekend in the books, next year, once the schedule comes out. And obviously I think all of Utica and all of us working here still, including myself, we would love to see you return back here to the U, my man.
Hey, look, the only time I put up U is for Utica, because I ain't trying to put up the U because of Miami. I'm a Florida State fan, and it kind of threw me off a little bit when you put the U up, man. But nah, I'll just mess with you.
Nah. I mean, we all know the real U is in Utica. The only U in Miami's name is in their nickname, and that's the Hurricanes. Other than that, they just got the logo, but it's the U in Utica, and nobody can take that from us because that's literally the city name. And obviously, I know a bunch of your guys would throw up the U, after getting extra base knocks and all that. So
Yeah,
hey,
have
traditions
a little
never
fun.
die. And Khalid, you're a big part of our tradition, and it's essentially the continued growth of the Blue Sox. So thanks again for coming on the Soxcast. And for that alumni weekend, we better see you up here this summer.
All right, we'll make some plans. But hey, thank you for having me. I'm really blessed. You know what I mean? Honored to have this interview. So I really appreciate it. But it's a great interview. Yeah.
So again, that wraps up the Soxcast for Hall of Famer Khalyd Cox. I'm your PA announcer Tim Best. Don't forget next week before Thanksgiving, I'm going to get one of our returners, maybe a future Blue Sox Hall of Famer in his own right. Ryan Enos is going to join us. He's back home for Thanksgiving, so for our first live interview at the new Blue Sox Academy. So we will catch you next time for that. So for Khalid and me, so long, and thanks for tuning in to the Soxcast, y'all.